You are watching Pause. We pause for a second or two. How do we keep life coherent when so much is changing? This is episode 267. Spontaneous pausing. Here on this show and on this channel, we are talking about something called pausing. Pausing is an age-old thing. We have always done it. But pausing is also a new thing. It is something we can learn and develop further. I usually say, pausing, we are learning something we already know. Pause. This is the wood cube of today. And we will look at this most important wood cube once every month. So every 7 episodes we dedicate an episode to this one because it's the most central. Everything else is built upon pause, upon pausing. And this is the image, the symbol of pausing. The common sign for pause. We see it on the pause button often on different things. Those 2 lines with the pause in between, I guess. Like a point and another point in the future with a pause in between. Or this point being the present and this point being the past with a pause in between. I guess that's what it's supposed to symbolize. Seems intuitive. And pause is our core skill. It is the skill upon which everything else is built. Core skill. So a skill, I guess, is something that we develop in the here and now. We get better at something. We get skilled at it. We can pause in a skillful way, a conscious way. Today, however, we are talking about pausing not in this conscious way. We're not talking about pausing as a skill. Not today. Today we're talking about pausing as a spontaneous behavior that we have. So, in an age-old sense, pausing is a natural behavior that we have just done forever, or for as long as we have existed, at least. What is such a spontaneous pause? I will try to think of some examples. Say that you are walking down the road or down a path, and you're walking through this sort of green forest-like path. And as you're walking there, all of a sudden, you come across a healthy pigeon. And you're not ready for this pigeon. It just sort of, poof, there it is, a pigeon. And it makes you pause. The pigeon crossing your path makes you pause. That is an example of a spontaneous pause. When it is not we who consciously choose to pause, but when something either from the outside or from the inside, or both, makes us just take a moment to, a pigeon, okay. That is a spontaneous pause. So, spontaneous pausing is something we all know. We could even say that it is one of the foundations supporting our learning. We could argue that as we go about our life, we scamper along and business is as usual until something appears that makes us pause, spontaneously pause, like the pigeon. Perhaps we walk down that path every day, but this day a pigeon arrives. This is new. This is something to react to. This is something to contemplate for a moment. And this example of the pigeon can seem trivial. I don't think it needs to be. But we also pause spontaneously when profound things happen. That is also true. Everything from the most trivial thing to the most profound thing can make us pause for a second or two. Sometimes we just come across something that makes us gasp or go like, wow, poof. That's also an example of a spontaneous pause. We see something we have never seen before, or we see something that we just find fascinating. And we pause. We do not have to try to pause, we just pause. It's a natural behavior. The thing itself is so interesting, so new, so relevant, so urgent, that it makes us pause. It stops us in our tracks. And we can just feel during that pause that this thing that we just come across changes us. Does not have to be that drastic, but still we feel that we are changing in the duration of that pause. We are learning something. We are adjusting to something. In the outside, in the inside, or both. Whenever we get a hunch that there might be something interesting or puzzling going on, we pause for a second or two. Pausing is how we make breathing space and choice. If you want to hear more about this last part, how pausing is how we make breathing space and choice, you can go back 1 month in the episodes here on the channel, and you will find an episode called Pausing Makes Breathing Space. But today we're talking about spontaneous pausing. So whenever we get a hunch that there might be something interesting or puzzling going on, we pause for a second or two. So this sentence, this description of pausing, is true both for our conscious, skillful pausing and for the spontaneous pausing we're talking about today. When something is interesting, or when something is puzzling, it makes us pause. So pausing and what is interesting are deeply and intimately intertwined. You could even say that pausing is our natural reaction to what is interesting. And then comes the sort of next step in all of this, Perhaps you're thinking this already. How does the spontaneous, unconscious pausing, if you will, relate to our conscious, skillful pausing? How do these two relate to one another? Why is it that we sometimes pause spontaneously and sometimes that we also can choose to pause for a second or two? The connection between spontaneous pausing and conscious pausing, it is both logical and mysterious. If you try it out, you will see that sometimes your pausing feels conscious, and at other times your pausing feels unconscious, like it just happens to you. Something makes you pause. And it's still a third kind of pausing, maybe, is that it feels part unconscious, part conscious. That we have some degree of conscious agency in our pausing. And I believe the relationship between spontaneous pausing and conscious pausing is something we can get to know during the whole of our life. I think we will never be fully clear or done with it. It's a lifelong learning. It's a lifelong learning. And that's what makes it so interesting. That it is both logical but also mysterious at the same time. There are things going on as we pause. And when we pause, things happen. Interesting things. We become more engaged in our life as we pause. And when something makes us pause spontaneously, could be from the outside, could be from the inside, could be both. When something makes us pause spontaneously, it can feel like a gift and it can feel like a curse or something in between. But regardless, it is like life is calling on us, that something is knocking on our door or nudging us. Hello, there's something going on here. How do you feel about it? What do you want to do about it? That we are active in life, but life is also active unto us. It's a meeting between two. Life pauses for us and we pause for life. Something like that. That's it for today. Thank you.